Did you see what happened to Speed while in Algeria? Because unfortunately, it's not a good look.
They throwing stuff? Ah, shit. Why they throwing stuff? Ah. Oh, hell no. What they throwing? Go panic. I'm not even on a rivalry team.
Bro, this Ishowspeed racism incident that happened in Algeria is insane. Obviously, Algeria is not in Europe, it's in Africa, but they don't claim to be African, they claim to be Arab. And the fact that people are trying to justify this racism thing when they were all throwing stuff at him in the stadium because he had his hand in his pants, bro, that is not true at all. Locals were literally calling him the GER as he was just casually driving around in the city.
The excuse was that they don't like being filmed, but you could clearly see the guy that was telling him that it's because they don't like being filmed has a camera filming them.
As you know, I am Algerian, and what happened to Speed is freaking embarrassing as shit. Like, really is. It's sad to see. Why is my country doing this? Like, why are we doing that? But it goes to show there's always racist people in the world. People will just not like other people for no reason. Like, brother just came in to watch a game. Why are we throwing water bottles? Why?
Bro, I did not know they was racist in North Africa. For one, be honest with you, I never heard of Algeria. And I don't know Algerians. I never heard of the place. But the fact they were treating Speed like shit over there, bro, it was funny to me because
North Africans have always been racist. Morocco, Algeria, these countries are known to be racist. And I've talked to many Moroccans that are in my Discord server, and they tell me personally, like, their older relatives are super racist. That's why I'm not surprised by this, because I already know this.
Did you see what happened to Speed while in Algeria? Because unfortunately, it's not a good look.
They throwing stuff? Ah, shit. Why they throwing stuff? Ah. Oh, hell no. What they throwing? Go panic. I'm not even on a rivalry team. The hell? Hell no. We gotta get out of here.
See, Ishowspeed was live streaming whilst in Algeria as part of his Africa tour while he was attending a Super Cup football match just yesterday. And while he was there, as you can see, some fans began throwing bottles and other objects at him, leading him to actually have to be escorted from the venue completely, and even him actually having to end his stream as well. Now, while this is all happening, some watchers of the live stream actually reported hearing some people call Speed the N-word in a derogatory way. And that, of course, is in spite of most, if not all of them, being black themselves. But what you need to remember is that racism is not just a matter of one group dominating another in a legal or systemic sense. Because it's true, people of any background or even the same background can use racial stereotypes or derogatory slurs even towards themselves. For example, a black person may target another black person because they see the other one as different, even though they might share the exact same ancestry. But this should not be about dragging an entire country. No, this should be about acknowledging that racism exists everywhere, unfortunately, and pretending otherwise only protects it. So if you're not prepared to call it out even when it seems inconvenient, maybe you should be asking yourself if you were ever serious about ending it to begin with.
Let me tell y'all something else. So Ishowspeed is on his African tour, and all throughout Africa, they've been showing him major love. But there's two countries where he has received disrespect and hate. And I'm gonna let y'all guess which ones and who they're run by. Time's up. It was Algeria and Egypt, and it's because most of northern Africa has been invaded by Arabs, and Arabs traditionally or generally are pretty racist. Maybe some of the United States are cool, but over there it's not good. It's not good. Check this history out. So they be claiming that they really from there, that they really the ones who built the pyramids, but a simple Google search would tell you that Arabs invaded Egypt between 639 and 642 AD. So we could say 640 AD. Where were they at before that? They were in Arabia. Pyramids were built way before 600 AD. And before that, you had the Persians was there and the Greeks were there in 300 something. Even the pyramids also were built way before that. Cleopatra the seventh, because there were 7 of them, the Greek one that they love to claim that's white, she's closer to the iPhone than she is closer to building of the pyramids. The pyramids were built in the dynasties of Kemet and Nubia, where black Africans ruled. If you check this out, most of the stuff look like this. This is why they keep trying to blow out the nose. You see Speed up there. This is why they're trying to hide and lie to Speed. They're trying to lie to all of us. But if you know the truth, you know the facts. Think about it. There ain't nothing like that in Arabia.
Bro, this Ishowspeed racism incident that happened in Algeria is insane. Obviously, Algeria is not in Europe, it's in Africa, but they don't claim to be African, they claim to be Arab. And the fact that people are trying to justify this racism thing when they were all throwing stuff at him in the stadium because he had his hand in his pants, bro, that is not true at all. Locals were literally calling him the GER as he was just casually driving around in the city. It's the fact that it's only the Arab countries that are racist towards people. Ishowspeed is just doing his job as the streamer, showing all these different cultures and countries in Africa, and the Arab countries are definitely being exposed. The fact that they also try to justify the racism as like, you don't know Algerian soccer fans. Come on, bro, no matter what type of soccer fans you are, that's just ignorant to say. I don't know, this whole thing just got me fired up because it's the fact that like, I didn't know this was happening in Africa. And it just shows that it all stems from Europeans because Europe used to rule Algeria. So when I said Algeria and Europe had correlation in my video, it wasn't saying that Algeria was Europe. You got, come on. That's what I'm saying. I just feel like Algerians found any way to like wrap around the fact of like the racism act they were doing. Don't let it go over your head. Everyone knew exactly what I was saying in that video. Europeans used to rule most of North Africa, hence why they don't like to say they're African, they like to say they're Arab. And I'm not saying all of North Africans are racist. I just think that history does show itself here, and that from Ishowspeed streams, you can definitely tell that North Africa is a lot more different than South Africa.
Algeria lost a lot of points on the world stage. The way they treated Ishowspeed, I believe, is going to come back to them in the form of less tourism because they literally had Speed running. Ishowspeed, the most loved guy in America, and frankly, the world. And for them to show as a country that they actually don't like him for whatever reason. Algeria is one of the northern countries of Africa, and it is said that African countries in the north just don't like the south. And this was a clear example for anybody that did not believe that or had the benefit of the doubt. The excuse was that they don't like being filmed, but you could clearly see the guy that was telling him that it's because they don't like being filmed has a camera filming them, and they are actually filming. Like, this is not Speed's team, and other people have cameras out. Speed's father was in tears as well because of this. He was seeing how they were treating Speed, and he was literally in tears. I never expected to see any country in Africa treat Speed in any other way. The other countries were so beautiful, so amazing, so loving and giving as a country, and this country in Algeria, it was just not it. It was not it completely. And I don't think people are just gonna want to go visit after this.
Hold on. I'm gonna say it. Nobody else gonna say it. Bro, I did not know they was racist in North Africa. For one, be honest with you, I never heard of Algeria. And I don't know Algerians. I never heard of the place. But the fact they were treating Speed like shit over there, bro, it was funny to me because I think it was like the other he went one other place. It was like in Asia. I think he got racism. He experienced a bit of racism over there and prejudice. But bro, they're literally in Algeria. They're literally throwing cups at him, throwing shit. Somebody yelling, "You nigger." Bro, why is it everywhere, bro? Why is racism everywhere? I don't understand what's the hate against black people, bro? We oppress it's worldwide. How are we the most hated people? This man went over there to watch a game, a dude trying to tell him, oh, they're throwing things at him because he don't want to be filmed. Bullshit. They don't want to be filmed, so they're throwing things at him, No, bro. They just hate him just because he's him, bro. That shit is sick to me, bro. What the fuck is going on with the world?
So I'm not gonna lie, y'all, this is crazy work. So we know that Speed is on his Africa tour or whatever, and he actually went to North Africa, which people already knew once he went to North Africa that they were going to try to be racist towards him. So he ends up trying to help them promote their stadium and, you know, everything they're doing with soccer. So on his way to the event, Speed actually got called the hard R. This is crazy. I mean, he ignored him, but so I'm not gonna lie, that's actually crazy to say that. But Speed, you know, kept his head above float and ignored him. So he ends up going to their stadium where basically groups of people was trying to be funny and tell him like, we don't want to be filmed. Now we know what happened in Egypt, everything with the statue. And remember, Speed said that they had strict rules. And he said they had a lot of restrictions, so he had to take the streams down and he had to move a little different because y'all know how they get over there. But yeah, once he went into the stadium, it was groups of people like saying like, I don't want to be filmed. So he had to kind of maneuver because, you know, if he did film him, how it could end. And I'm pretty sure Speed don't want to deal with that. So, you know, they ended up taking matters into their own hands and like just throwing stuff at him. Like they're throwing tomatoes, all types of stuff as he's walking. Check this out.
Oh, hell no. What they doing? I'm not even
So yeah, they're definitely being weird towards Speed. But people already said that was going to happen. First the Egypt stuff, now here. At the end of the day, Speed, you should have knew though, because people were trying to warn you. And he wasn't doing nothing but trying to help them and promote their stuff, their stadium, the way that they run soccer and stuff like that. It's actually wild when you think about it.
Addressing the Speed situation, because multiple people are tagging me and even asking me about what the hell's going on. As you know, I am Algerian, and what happened to Speed is freaking embarrassing as shit. Like, really is. It's sad to see. Why is my country doing this? Like, why are we doing that? But it goes to show there's always racist people in the world. People will just not like other people for no reason. Like, brother just came in to watch a game. Why are we throwing water bottles? Why? What is the reason? Brother has nothing to do with the game. He's just there watching. It makes no sense. Fat L, but as always, not every Algerian is like this. We're not all like this. It is what it is. I'll see you guys next time.
So, if you've not been following Ishowspeed's Africa tour, his recent travel across North Africa is beginning to raise a lot of eyebrows as to how the people of North Africa are treating Ishowspeed. And I think to most Africans, this is not really a surprising thing. No sub-Saharan African is surprised at this simple fact. It's just everybody knows this. And well, I guess he had to, because for me, I would have said do the sub-Saharan African tour and then go home. But I guess he has to go there and experience, maybe find some positive experience there, maybe. But the reality is, a lot of the time there are people there who look down on black people, and that's just what it is. But yeah, I guess he had to go there for himself to experience that type of thing. But yeah. But again, we have to always preface this by saying most North Africans are not racist. That's just a point. Or I don't know how to put it, but that's I'm trying to make a very fine line point where I'm like, you will experience racism in North Africa if you're black. That's just it. That's the thing.
Speed was not hit by bottles of water because it's racially motivated or because he's black. That happened because he accidentally tried to film Ultras members, and you cannot do that. It's strictly forbidden within football culture and rules. If you visit any country across the planet and you try to go to a stadium anywhere on the planet and you try to film the Ultras members, the same thing would happen to you. I myself, 2 years ago, I was in a stadium and I didn't know that you're not supposed to film the Ultras. And they searched my phone, they deleted every single video, and they said, hey, please do not film us. We want to hide our identities. So please, for the love of God, the stream was great. It was nearly perfect. Everything was good. The vibes were cool. The dances were beautiful. The country is beautiful. Speed loved everything about the country. The people loved him and embraced him. It was cool. It was respectful. These white Algerians, they want to be white. Want to be white. We were colonized by white people for 132 years. What are you talking about? This country was one of the first countries to endorse the Black Panthers. Learn some history before you open your mouth. And thank you to Speed for being the man he always was, because I love the stream. Honestly, it was beautiful.
Algeria has been the worst place Ishowspeed has gone on his Africa tour. And I, for one, when I get to Africa, will not be visiting. Some of the people there were nice, but a lot were not. Like an entire football stadium full of people hurling words and vegetables at Speed. Like he's not literally helping out tourism here. And I already knew this was going to happen, which is why I didn't talk about any of it after day one. I purposely waited for day two because I knew it's coming. If I'm being entirely real with you, I'm going to be checking in on Speed in Northern Africa, but I'm not really excited because I already know how they view us. I know how they view themselves. When I go to Africa, I will be skipping over quite a few areas in Northern Africa. Algeria, you're the worst. How's it feel to know that the one time that you get a major influencer in your area, you completely sell the bag because you can't get out of your own way? Every other part of the tour has been better. How ironic is it that the closer people get to looking like this, the worse they view this? Speed, you were very professional. Never go back to Algeria. Oh, and grown men, by the way. Don't believe me? Watch this. Yeah, I'm good on Algeria.
A lot of people wanted me to talk about Speed facing racism in North Africa. This probably has to deal with the fact that I said Speed wouldn't face racism when he's around people who also experience the same thing he does and know how he feels, aka most of the people in Africa, but you guys have mistaken. North Africans have always been racist. Morocco, Algeria, these countries are known to be racist. And I've talked to many Moroccans that are in my Discord server, and they tell me personally, like their older relatives are super racist. That's why I'm not surprised by this, because I already know this. Just because they share the same continent does not mean that they're going to be excluded from giving racism out. Especially when you consider the fact that they don't even see themselves as black or the same people as sub-Saharan Africans. Which Speed is, but also the fact they try to separate themselves all the time. I mean, you can go on TikTok comments even and see it with the youth, even African, or they'll say that they're not African in the same association as sub-Saharans are African. That's why I'm not really surprised. I was going to speak on this, but I'm not surprised by this. If Speed goes down back, like Ethiopia, y'all, I told y'all, he went to Ethiopia and that was literally his best stream. And y'all niggas were trying to clown Ethiopia. So I want to hear what's up there.
I fear North Africa is never beating the allegations. They are never beating the racist allegations. They will always be at the scene of the crime. We saw that with how Morocco played at the AFCON finals. Poor sportsmanship, especially for the host country. Ill. Big up Senegal. Congratulations for Senegal for taking it home for Africa. Damn. And now we're seeing it with Ishowspeed on the North African leg of his tour. That man has been to several African countries. Good vibes, good energy. He was showing them love and they were showing him love. He gets to the north. And are we shocked? I've seen so many people say, wait until he gets to the north, wait until he gets to the north. And the north did not fail to disappoint. The racism just jumped out. They couldn't help it. They could not help it. The racism jumps out. I know it disturbs some of them to admit and to acknowledge that they are part of the African continent, because they would like to claim anything but Africa. But yeah, geographically, it can't be denied. It can't be denied. But yeah, y'all need better PR right now. The PR for North Africa, it's going down. It's going down. I don't know. Maybe I should have like a North African congregation delegation to figure out how y'all want to proceed. But again, this is no hate from the other parts of the continent. We just know. And you can't say they hate us because they not us. West Africa has nothing to be jealous of. South Africa has nothing to be jealous of. East Africa has nothing to be jealous of. And we all claim the continent. We're all very much proud to be African. But the North, yeah, y'all be moving real spicy, real interesting, real stush.
I wasn't going to record today, but like many of us, I've seen the disgraceful footage online, and I had to. The racial abuse directed at Ishowspeed in Algeria, and in the same treatment of Senegalese fans and players. But instead of seeing these incidents as isolated, it's worth stepping back and asking ourselves, what do moments like this tell us about anti-blackness in North Africa, the Middle East, and the wider Arab world? Because there's a basic fact that often gets ignored. Black people are not foreign to North Africa. Black Moroccans and Algerians include indigenous black North African communities like the Haratin and the Gnawa groups, excuse my pronunciation, Black Amazigh and Arab North Africans, families who were there long before modern borders existed. Yet many of these people are still treated as if they don't fully belong. And here's how anti-blackness shows up in everyday life. First is colorism. Darker skin is often linked to ideas of servitude, poverty, or low intelligence. Racial slurs are excused as jokes, and beauty standards reward lighter skin. This didn't happen by accident. It comes from history, slavery, colonial rule, and long-standing racial hierarchies. Number 2, social exclusion. Black Moroccans and Algerians are often assumed to be migrants. They're asked, where are you really from? And it's reported that they're treated as less authentically Moroccan or Algerian. So even citizenship doesn't always guarantee belonging. So again, belonging becomes conditional. And number 3, class and economic barriers. Black people are overrepresented in domestic work, agriculture, and informal jobs, and underrepresented in media, politics, and senior leadership roles. Race and class work together, quietly, but consistently. And then there's the biggest barrier of all, the denial.
Phrases like we're all the same here. Racism is a Western problem. But denying racism doesn't make it disappear. It just makes it harder to talk about and harder for us to challenge. And clearly from these videos that we're seeing online, racism isn't just a Western problem. And that's the whole point. And that's why this issue is rarely discussed openly. National pride often comes before lived experience. Blackness is framed as something external, and histories of slavery and inequality are often avoided. But it seems like some of this is starting to change. Some young people, activists and scholars are pushing these conversations forward, especially online. Because anti-blackness in North Africa didn't come from nowhere. Remember that. It's shaped by history, by power, and by systems that outlast individuals. Simple. The treatment that the Senegalese fans and players have received and Ishowspeed represent a much wider regional problem that is often denied but is very, very prevalent